Hello and welcome back to another one of my videos. I'm Elliot and today I'm going to be going through how Red Bull makes its money. So last year in 2019, Red Bull sold one can for almost every person on the planet, alongside selling 7.5 billion cans of their energy drink. They also run 2 F1 teams, 5 professional football clubs, 2 ice hockey teams and the clothing brand AlphaTauri. That's not to mention the events like the Crashed Ice Challenge, the Wings for Life run and the international soapbox races. They sponsor thousands of athletes and run media production. Obviously, with all this considered, Red Bull do a lot more than just sell energy drinks. But is everything else just marketing? In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at exactly how Red Bull makes its money. And if you like this video, don't forget to go to down below, press the subscribe button and the little notification bell. So, where did Red Bull all start? It started in 1982. The Austrian businessman Dietrich Mateschitz found himself travelling in Thailand whilst on business and suffering from jet lag. It was then that he tried the local drink Krating Deng, which alleviated his jet lag substantially. Krating Deng, which literally translates to mean red gore, or which is a large type of bison or bull that is common in Thailand. Inspired by its effects, Mateschitz decided to bring the product home with him in the format to create an entirely new product category, the energy drink. After pitching his product to Western investors and being turned down simply because they didn't see the potential of the product outside of Asia, being so convinced in his product, Mateschitz teamed up with the boss of Krating Deng, both investing $500,000 to create this whole new company. So after investing and adapting the formula and flavours to better suit the European market, he successfully launched the product in Austria in 1987, just 5 years after first trying the product. So initially Red Bull benefited from being banned in Germany. Its reputation of being an outlaw brand meant that young Germans often crossed the border simply to buy the product. This resulted in Red Bull selling over a million cans even in the first year. After Austria, Red Bull quickly spread throughout Europe, launching in Slovakia and Hungary in 1992 and later in Germany and in the UK in 1994. When they finally reached the US market in 1997, Red Bull was selling over 1 million cans each day. So whilst companies such as Coca-Cola and Pepsi have much deeper pockets to create new products and promote these products, what they didn't count on was the strategic intent of Mateschitz and the Red Bull brand. So Mateschitz went into the company thing with the sole focus of focusing on downstream activities within the value chain. So Red Bull still to this day outsource their operations such as production and logistics. This means that the company as a whole doesn't actually produce its own drink. It's managed solely by external partners, and it leaves Red Bull as a company completely free to focus on actually selling the drink and promoting its brand. So judging by the profit margin that they're actually achieving, it's a decision that's very much paid off. So one of Red Bull's secrets is that they charge a much higher price for their product than their competitors. So each can costs around 9 cents to make. That's about 7p. Whereas the RRP for the can is $3.59, about £2.87, somewhere around there. So that's what we as consumers buy it for. Wholesale customers such as supermarkets pay anywhere between $44 and $48 per case of 24 cans. That's about £35 to £38, somewhere around there. So $1.87, £1.49 per can, somewhere around there, which is more than 20 times the cost of producing that single can. And the reason why people are so willing to pay for that pay the extra for the drink is very much the Red Bull brand power, and it's been a very well thought out marketing strategy. Obviously, when Mateschitz first brought the product to Europe, there wasn't a market for energy drinks, so he literally had to create the market and the demand for that specific product. So to do that, he first focused on the club scene, and obviously, and nowadays it's really hard to imagine a student party without several packs of Red Bull on hand, and it's very much the case of it's that way because Red Bull choose to make use of student brand managers from very early on. So these very popular students would be encouraged to promote the Red Bull drinks and brand on university campuses and throw parties at different locations with everything supplied by Red Bull. If you've been down to the beaches in the summer, you might see the VW Beetles with larger than life Red Bull cans strapped to the back. These would also appear at universities, gyms, even large office buildings, all armed with free samples. Going back to the club scene, bartenders quickly found that Red Bull, the actual drink Red Bull, was a money-making machine and was a popular night out drink when sold with vodka and Jaeger. So soon the beverage was being sold across nightclubs and festivals across the world, giving the Austrian brand a huge competitive advantage. But this is only the start. That was only the start of the Red Bull marketing machine. Through sponsorships and ownerships of various sports teams and events, Red Bull continuously engages with their customer in a much deeper way than traditional marketing would normally allow them to. So instead of sober storytelling, Red Bull employs story performing instead. This allows the customer to feel active and intense by drinking from a can that bears the same logo as an F1 car or their favourite football team or even a record-breaking parachute drop. So rather than using this conventional marketing or looking for stories to be associated with, Red Bull simply instead looks to create their own stories and produce the content themselves using their own media house. That means that for all their events, they own the rights to all of the pictures of these events. And with the power of social media, this gives them huge potential of virality, and it drastically improves the return on their marketing. So the ultimate example of this is Felix Baumgartner's jump from space in 2012. The project cost Red Bull an impressive $50 million, which is about £40 million. But some experts estimate that the global reach and virality of the event resulted in media coverage of over $6 billion, around £4.7 billion. So looking at that, it's probably worth it. So both sponsoring extreme sports events like this and selling products with an edge enables Red Bull to remain the market leader in its category. And as I mentioned earlier, they sold 7.5 billion cans of the Red Bull energy drink in 2019, and this has helped them create revenue of over $6 billion. But to reach that revenue, they spend almost a third of their budget on marketing. And despite this kind of huge marketing spend and this huge marketing budget, the actual revenue of Red Bull has slowed down since 2012. And the main issue behind that is very much the fact that they're solely focused on that one product. Their energy drink creates the majority of their revenue, and because of that, it limits potential growth and becomes a huge risk to the brand, especially with the increased awareness of health and nutrition and various other things that go on behind the scenes. The investments in sports teams and media production are therefore not only a marketing activity, but are also an attempt to diversify and create additional value chains next to their drinks business. Using sport as an example, they obviously own five professional football teams. So a player could realistically start their career in Brazil with Red Bull Brazil. They could then move to Red Bull Salzburg in the Austrian league, then on to Red Bull Leipzig in the Bundesliga, before potentially ending their career at New York Red Bulls, all the while creating value for Red Bull. And again, this team in New York is a great example of how private equity in sports has benefited Red Bull. The team was purchased in 2006 for $25 million and is now worth, according to Forbes, in excess of $290 million. That tenfold growth that they've seen within the last 10-15 years will only continue to grow as the popularity of Major League Soccer and the global brand awareness of that league and the teams within the league only grows. So despite these huge growths in value from their other investments, the main revenue driver remains the drinks business, which brings in a whopping 97% of their total earnings. And you only have to look into Red Bull's kind of investor reports, really, where it says that all the other activities outside of their drinks business are labelled as ongoing brand investment, which signals to me that they're losses rather than revenue streams, but that might only be for the time being. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget, if you like these videos and you want to see more, press the subscribe button below, and don't forget to give me a like and a comment just to let me know what you want me to cover in the future, and don't also forget to press the little notification bell down below.